Bomb threats targeting historically black colleges and universities.
As much progress as we're making, we're not really sure if the world sees us or even cares about it.
Including some in Florida. Local members of the Jewish community reacting this morning.
Our polling has found that American Jews are very concerned about anti-Semitism.
To a recent wave of anti-Semitism. Plus, Miami-Dade and Broward aren't the only school districts to have their superintendents step down.
I've had letters sent here, I've had security teams.
More on the reason the head of Palm Beach Schools is calling it quits. These stories and more coming up on Newsbreak.
Hello, South Florida. I'm Anya Joseph.
And I'm Zitlali Solache. Today is February 2nd, 2022.
From the South Florida Media Network's Biscayne-based studios in North Miami, this is SFMN Newsbreak.
Yesterday alone, 2 deadly school shootings wrecked communities in 2 states. The first tragic shooting was on the campus of Bridgewater College.
It was yesterday near Charlottesville, Virginia. Officers were able to protect all of the college students and arrest a suspect. 2 officers, however, a campus police officer and a campus safety officer, were killed in the shooting.
I want to offer our condolences, our prayers, our very hearts to JJ's family and to John's family. Words will never be enough to express our sadness and our grief. Our anguish is felt so deeply because the entire Bridgewater College community is a family too.
Meanwhile, near Minneapolis, 2 suspects are in custody after a shooting outside a Richfield South Education Center. 1 student is dead there and another is critically injured.
From messages in Northeast Miami-Dade to Nazi protests in Orlando, it's difficult for American Jews, including those in South Florida. Nicole Carpel has the story.
Over the past few days, anti-Semitism have popped up in different cities such as San Francisco, Miami, and New York City. It comes after a hostage situation at a Texas synagogue in mid-January.
I actually had a teacher who failed me in a class because I missed school for 3 days for Rosh Hashanah.
We not only see anti-Semitism in school, we also see it in college.
In my university, I was basically verbally, abused. I was called an effing Jew, so that's you feel a little bit overwhelmed about that, but definitely it's basically what happened to me.
Last Saturday in Orlando, there was a group yelling profanities and anti-Semitic slurs at vehicles passing by. The group, which goes by America's Nazi Party, posted on its website, quote, "We are Nazis," and admitted to holding the event. Holly Hovnagel, Director for Combating Anti-Semitism in the United States for AJC, says how American Jews are concerned about this matter.
Our polling has found that American Jews are very concerned about anti-Semitism. 9 in 10 think it's a problem in the United States. 8 in 10 believe that it has increased in the last 5 years. And 1 in 4 have actually been the personal target of anti-Semitism in the last year alone.
The only way to fight against anti-Semitism is by teaching others and learning about history. This is Nicole Carper, South Florida Media Networks.
Historically black colleges and universities facing threats. The network's Fabio Lopez is outside Howard University in Washington, D.C.
There have been a flurry of bomb threats throughout historically black universities, or HBCUs, throughout the entire country, one of which being Howard University here in Washington, D.C., as well as Florida universities such as Florida Memorial University and Edward Waters University. Overall, there have been bomb threats at over a dozen HBCUs nationwide, earning national attention and putting these schools on high alert.
State police have been in communication with their federal, state, and local law enforcement partners and are still trying to determine whether these phone calls to other historical black colleges and universities are all connected in any way.
These threats have led multiple schools to temporarily cancel in-person learning and lock down their buildings, a situation that White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki labels as horrifying.
It is scary, it is horrifying, it is terrible that these students, these faculty, these institutions are feeling under threat.
As state and federal officials continue their search, students are disheartened by the implications of these threats.
The unfortunate thing is that they specifically targeted HBCUs, which in light of everything we have going on racially and socially in this world, it's really unfortunate because it shows us that as much progress as we're making, we're not really sure if the world sees us or even cares about us.
I want to assure the parents and families who are watching that we have responded quickly. Law enforcement is here in force, and we're going to do everything we can to keep this campus safe.
Investigations are still ongoing to find the source of these threats. I'm Fabio Lopez in Washington, D.C. for South Florida Media Network.
If you have not heard already, Brian Flores is currently suing the NFL along with 3 NFL teams alleging racism in hiring practices. The former Miami Dolphins head coach is suing the NFL and Miami Dolphins, the Denver Broncos, and the New York Giants. Flores alleges that the Dolphins owner, Stephen Ross, has attempted to pay Flores off for purposely losing games, saying he would offer $100,000 per loss. And when the Dolphins won games, Ross was mad.
It's official, 7-time Super Bowl champion Tom Brady is retiring. The 3-time MVP quarterback announced Tuesday on Instagram that he is ending his 22-year football career at the age of 44. Brady spent 2 decades with the New England Patriots, leading the team to 6 Super Bowl titles. In his post, he thanked his family, teammates, coaches, fans, and other supporters.
The latest cold case blown wide open as officers track down the culprit behind the recent wintry weather.
That's still ahead, and so is this story.
We reserve the authority to fire all of you, including you, Dr. Fenoy.
You are absolutely just as bad as some of those Nazi generals.
Rising tensions, many superintendents are calling it quits. Don't go away. Newsbreak will be back in 2 minutes.
Jordan knows he shouldn't eat this entire bowl of nachos, but tonight he's earned that right. Because a few hours ago in the middle of happy hour, he recognized a sign. Not from the gods or a bolt of lightning, but from a double heart, a kissy face, and a 4th ha in ha ha ha. That's when Jordan knew he was buzzed. So when it was time to go, he got a ride home instead of driving. Be a legend like Jordan. Recognize your buzzed warning signs and get a ride home. Buzz driving is drunk driving.
My mother was always very familiar with her neighborhood, but one day she stopped at the stop sign for much longer than usual. And she didn't know whether she should go forward or turn, and she wasn't even really sure where she was at. It was very unsettling for her.
I felt so much better after my son told me, "Mom, I don't want you to worry or be afraid. I'll be there for you and we'll figure it out."
How prepared is your family if a tornado shows up at your doorstep, or a flood, or a hurricane? You can't just turn away a natural disaster. That's why it's important to go to ready.gov/plan now. It has the tools and tips you need to make an emergency plan with your family. So if disaster comes knocking,
let's go.
You'll be ready to help keep your family safe.
It's just a pizza.
Yes. Make a plan today.
Superintendent struggle leading to some high-profile resignations, including one in Palm Beach County. Threats and stress from the pandemic have caused a rise in resignations from school superintendents across the country.
In Palm Beach County, Dr. Donald Fenoy, who was the county superintendent, stepped down 16 months into the pandemic to spend more time with family and less time dealing with hostilities like this.
Stop trying to incite division among us.
We reserve the authority to fire all of you, including you, Dr. Fenoy.
You are absolutely just as bad as some of those Nazi generals.
A number of superintendents across the U.S., like Dr. Fenoy, are leaving their jobs because of the stress brought on from the pandemic and political divide.
The cold never bothered the frozen ice queen, as she cannot let the frigid temperatures go. As a joke, Pickens Police Department in North Carolina cracked the case for all the snow in the region. Body cam video showed the arrest of the Disney's ice queen, Elsa the Queen, waived her right to remain silent and was later sent to stand trial, but she froze the proceedings, turned away, and slammed the door. Officials considered this a cold case.
That's all the time we have for Newsbreak. I'm Zitlali Solache.
I'm Anya Joseph. Get more news anytime at sfmn.fiu.edu.